This week on GG News, Diablo future game, maybe? Halo 6 rumoured for PC and Xbox release, new information regarding the recently announced Quake Champions, a nerf to Dark Souls, Evolve now free to play, some Overwatch news, Black Desert Online DDoS news, and Pokemon Go sad news, and finally, Bundle of the Week. Earlier in the week, Blizzard placed a job listing looking for a game director for an unannounced project. As someone who played Diablo 3 religiously, I must admit I went into instant hype over this post. The only downside, it may also be simple DLC for Diablo 3, as former director Jay Wilson left their ranks, prompting this job search listing. But we can only hope for a new game in the near future. My loot finger is ready. Microsoft has confirmed that any future games will feature the Xbox Play Anywhere program. This means that all future games will be purchasable via the online store found on Windows 10. So we should all be able to expect the massive juggernaut known only as Halo to feature, right? It's currently all speculation, and any questions thrown towards Microsoft are met with utter ignorance. The Play Anywhere program will become available on September 13th, so we can all only hope. Time to resharpen my Banshee piloting skills. While Quake Champions was just announced at E3 2016, it seems that a fair bit of information about the game has been trickling out, with developer id explaining why the latest entry in the hallowed first-person shooter franchise is exclusive to PC. German website GameStar's interview with creative director Tim Wiltus throws light on what you can expect from the game thanks to a translation via the esreality.com forums. I'll place a link to the interview in the description below. The most telling change is the possibility of the game becoming free to play. Although it's purely rumours, the developers are testing multiple business models. But one thing is for sure, they are targeting a large player base. id Software is targeting their game for release in 2017. One thing is definitely for sure, it is the return of my most loved weapon of all time, the BFG. You big. Moving on. Dark Souls received an update before last weekend and made a lot of changes to weapons and armor, including a long-awaited nerf to the Dark Sword. This calculates to around 5% loss in effectiveness. This patch was also met with a non-downloaded patch, meaning those who heavily relied on this weapon could not dodge the patch itself. A lot more details about the patch were released, and I'll place a link to their details in the description below. While we are on the topic of Dark Souls 3, someone has just beaten the game in under 3 hours. Impressive, right? Yeah, I was impressed as well, but he did it without taking a single hit. Naked dodge rolling for the win. Earlier in the week, Evolve, also known as a shit ton of DLC, removed themselves from Steam, sparking an immediate "please explain." They replied with that their game is now moving in a more player-friendly direction, free to play. Those who had already purchased the game will now receive a fancy new rank and some in-game items. And then after relaunching the games back on Steam, they reported that the game would have 157 user peak per day. Just the second day of launching their Stage 2, their user count now boasts more than 24,000 users. Smart move, guys, well done. A couple days ago, Overwatch teased some new characters that they may be announcing. Yesterday they changed their talks and explained that they will be removing the sudden death feature, but not before tweaking it. Tweaking it will mean replacing the system with a tied game feature. And finally, today teased again about characters, but this time a lot more of date was announced. Around Comic-Con or even at it, they would reveal the in-full character details. Just after the Valencia update was released for Black Desert Online, their servers were attacked by DDoS. Currently they are working on countering them, but most of the NA players are still unable to log into game. As compensation, they gave out some in-game items that were delivered on the 5th of July. For handling the attack, they must be congratulated, and for how they kept the players updated during this time. They even had time to celebrate 4th of July with fireworks and flares. Well done, Dom. Well done. On to Pokemon Go, and for those who know nothing about this new iOS game that is beyond sweeping a craze, here is a quick rundown. The game is designed to make you travel into real-life locations to locate items, Pokeballs, and even Pokemon. A lot of memes and posts have been made all over forms of social media. But with all this hype over the game, it was only a matter of time before tragedy struck, as a young boy was hit by a car whilst playing Pokemon Go. If you are playing the game, please remember to look up from your phone to ensure you are not standing in the middle of a road, and travel in groups so your friends are looking out for you as well. And for our bundle of the week, we go over to bundlestars.com and find the Shadow of Mordor bundle. This game includes the game as well as 18 pieces of DLC. That's all the news we have time for this week. If you'd like more news, make sure you subscribe and wait until next week. And as always, may your games be good.